Good pause YouTube, 6fthax here. Have for you guys today something a little bit different. No Wi-Fi battle. I will have one up tomorrow though, so be on the lookout for that. But this is going to be me narrating, post-commentating two really good showdown battles I had while I was laddering in the UU tier, just because I wasn't able to have them while I did a live or anything like that. If you guys would like to see more battles like this or more videos like this in the future, then please let me know in the comment section below. If you guys do enjoy the two really good battles, then make sure to hammer that like button down below. And I guess the question of the day is to let me know if you like this or not, because your feedback is always greatly appreciated. So this is a pretty cool team that I think I made around either Assault Vest or Specs Primarina, and then we have Scarfed Gengar, which is actually really cool. We have Spike Stacking with Klefki, we have Double Dance Cobalion, if I'm not mistaken, Pursuit Trap Mecha Aerodactyl, which is the only real Mecha Aerodactyl in UU because it's just such an amazing, oh my god, the Mecha Aerodactyl is so good in UU. And then we have Stealth Rocking Crocodile. Now looking at my opponent's team, I get absolutely destroyed by Volcanion once I lose my Primarina, so obviously that is a humongous problem. His Mega Aerodactyl, if I lose my Scarf on Gengar or if I lose Crocodile, could prove to be a bit of an issue, but if I'm able to keep Cobalion healthy enough or Thunder Wave it with my Klefki, then that's going to be pretty good. Unless it comes down to a speed tie, because I'm probably going to lose the speed tie if we're being honest. Hippowdon really isn't that big of an issue, although this team is a little bit weak to ground. As you can see, I don't really have a good ground switching, which is why I haven't done a live with this team. But it's still a fun team, like minus that one little flaw. It's really fun. Conkeldurr, I'm most likely expecting to be AV, and then Serena, so I don't really know what that does. But I'm going to be leading off with my Crocodile because I wanted to get up my rocks turn 1, because the good thing about Gengar is that it should be able to safely switch into Serena without it being able to do too much to it. As he decides to lead off with Hippowdon, I'm going to go straight for the taunt as he does try to get up his Stealth Rock. So this is really good because now not only will I get on my own rocks, but I prevent him from getting up his rocks, and I'm also going to be able to get rid of his leftovers, as I do unfortunately take a really good amount of damage from these earthquakes. I really thought he would go for the Stealth Rocks here, thinking that I would want to switch out, wanting to keep my Crocodile healthy, but I guess I could have hard switched right into my Aerodactyl, but it's still pretty good that I'm able to prevent him from getting up the Stealth Rocks, because this puts me in a really good advantage, because like I said, Gengar still really deals with Serena really well. So he's going to switch out into his Serena, and this is the instance where I wish that I had Aerial Ace instead of Aqua Tail, as I would have been able to maybe 2-hit KO the Serena. As I do hard switch directly into Gengar, he decides to go for the Synthesis. He's going to be forced out, and I'm actually going to make a bit of an odd play here, and I go for the trick. In hindsight, I probably should have just double switched into my Primarina, because I was definitely positive that he was going to switch into Umbreon or Conkeldurr, both of which are dealt with by Primarina. And I don't know, I really should have kept my Scarf, but I guess tricking it off too isn't that bad. But I think doubling here would have been the better play, because now the Aerodactyl is a bit more of an issue. As I decided to switch directly into my Klefki, he does go for the knockoff, gets a crit, which is a little bit annoying just because I'm at lower HP than I should be, but I am going to be able to go for the Toxic here as he switches directly into his Hippowdon. Knowing that the Earthquake is way too obvious, I'm going to make an aggressive play here and get up a layer of spikes, because as long as I can prevent him from spinning, so long as I have this layer of spikes up, I am in an advantage for this matchup, which is going to be really good, because his team is going to be taking more residual damage every time they switch in and out than my team is going to be taking. So I switch right into my Aerodactyl here, expecting him to switch into his Serena, or thinking he would go for the Earthquake, and now I make a really good play, I think, and expecting him to predict my switch into Gengar, I'm actually going to stay in and I'm going to go for the Stone Edge. Yes, it doesn't knock him out, but because the switch into Gengar is too obvious, I know that he's going to predict me to make it and try and go for either the U-turn or maybe even Synthesis to see what I want to do. And at this point, he probably knows that I don't have Aerial Ace, so I'm able to get off a huge hit with the Stone Edge as he does go for the U-turn, predicting my Gengar switching. In comes the Conkeldurr again. If I had Aerial Ace, this would be absolutely amazing, but no, I have to deal with the Choice Scarf Conkeldurr now. And I have a couple plays here. I can easily switch into Klefki, I can switch into Primarina, or I could even switch into Cobalion. But the downside of Cobalion is that obviously he can go for the Drain Punch or maybe the Mach Punch if he's just foddering this off. So I'm more leaning towards making the play into Primarina or the Klefki, as I do make the safe play into Klefki, as he actually goes for the Ice Punch, funny enough, which is really good. And I can either get up another layer of spikes here, or I can go for the Toxic. And the main reason I went for the Toxic was because I thought that he was going to try to switch into his, not Hippowdon, but potentially into his Serena here. And I didn't know that Queenly Majesty, or Majesty, sorry, protected Serena from Prankster. So obviously I should have gone for the Play Rough instead. But I guess in that sense, he could have also potentially switched into Volcanion. But I could have gone for the Thunder Wave, so I guess Serena was his definite switch in. But like I said, I was hoping to Toxic it and put it on a timer, but no, that is not the case now, as I'm going to be forced to switch out of here into my Gengar, and he does end up going for the Synthesis. This is fine, honestly. I'm really not in a bad position. I can go for the Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, or Shadow Ball, as I do have the Sludge Wave. I do have a version though. I have a new Gengar team with Sludge Bomb just for the extra poison chance, because it's not really meant to deal damage. But the poison chance is really nice to get. As he's going to go for the Wish, I bring in Cobalion, and I make a really good play here, I think, and I go for the Swords Dance, as I expected him to either switch out or stay in, and now I just click Close Combat and something dies on his team. As down goes the Umbreon, in comes the Aerodactyl, which is a humongous issue. So I decided to finally just sack off my Crocodile because it's really not doing much in this matchup. I still have use for my Primarina because it deals with his Volcanion. As I bring in my Cobalion, he gets a crit. The fact that he stayed in itself upset me because he most likely should have switched out, because there's no way the Mega Aerodactyl was knocking out Cobalion in one hit, and the fact that he just got that crit put me in an even worse spot in this matchup, because now the only hopes I have to deal with this Aerodactyl are to either paralyze it with Thunder Wave, or hope that I win a speed tie against it, or that maybe he doesn't knock out my Primarina, if that is even possible, because I think I'm at, how much HP am I? Oh no, I'm at full. So yeah, if I can live a Stone Edge with Primarina, then I can also knock him out. So this is really bad because the minimum damage of Iron Head was 78% and he's at 76%. So I bring in my Primarina here knowing that I can live any one hit, and I'm just gonna go for the Scald, I believe, or the Moonblast. No, Psychic actually, because I thought that maybe he would switch into the Volcanion or into the Conkeldurr. That way I got super effective damage on Conkeldurr and I got off a harder hit on the incoming Volcanion. So I managed to knock out the Hippowdon as he brings in the Volcanion. The Sludge Bomb was very obvious, but I really did not want to make the switch out here. I really didn't want to risk him potentially predicting me to switch out. And if you look at his team, I don't really have much use for my Primarina at this point, because I think after Sand and another Stealth Rock switch, and I'm in range of where Aerodactyl can knock me out with one hit anyways. So I decided just to sack off my Primarina here, allowing me to get a free switch into my Gengar, because I'm very positive that he's choice locked. As I go for the Shadow Ball, he does barely live. Thankfully though, his own Sand is going to knock him out, as he is then going to bring in the Aerodactyl. And I was really positive that he was going to go for the Pursuit here, but I'm guessing that he doesn't carry it for some reason, as I hard switch directly into my Klefki knowing that I can live any one hit that he wants to go for, bar an Earthquake. But then if he goes for Earthquake, there's a chance that I can switch into my Aerodactyl. So his best play is to definitely go for the Stone Edge, because I shouldn't risk bringing in Klefki. But by bringing in Klefki, I can take one Stone Edge and then I put him in a scenario of, does he want to switch out or does he want to stay in? Because I can Thunder Wave him, thus in theory winning me the battle, or I can force him out and paralyze whatever he decides to bring in, and then from there maybe Play Rough or get up another layer of Spikes, or maybe save Klefki even so I can switch back in to another Stealth Rock and then save it to be able to Thunder Wave Mega Aerodactyl. But he crits me. The maximum damage Stone Edge did was 33%, I think, which means I'm pretty sure I could have lived Stealth Rocks, obviously. But I mean, it's fine. As I bring in my Aerodactyl, I'm hoping that I win the speed tie. Luckily, though, he doesn't want to risk it, so he's going to make the safe switch into the Serena. Again, wish I had Aerial Ace, because now I have to hope that I hit a Stone Edge. So please, Aerodactyl, thank you. As I knock out the Serena, he's going to bring in the Conkeldurr. And at this point, if I make the wrong play, I lose the battle. Because remember, this Conkeldurr is Choice Scarf now. So he can either go for the Drain Punch or go for the knockoff, thinking that I'll switch into Gengar. So obviously, because I can potentially still live one more Stealth Rock switching, and my chances of winning are to potentially speed tie with the Aerodactyl, I'm actually going to make a pretty aggressive play here, and I'm going to stay in hoping that he expects me to switch out. And again, if I had Aerial Ace, I could knock him out of here, but I have to go for the Aqua Tail, hope that I knock him out and he overpredicts, and luckily he does go for the knockoff, thinking that I would switch into Gengar, predicting the potential Mach Punch or the Drain Punch. As in comes his own Aerodactyl. If I don't knock him out with the Aqua Tail, then I lose, because he just outspeeds my Gengar and knocks me out with any hit, which means I have to win a speed tie against his Aerodactyl. Above that, I have to hit whatever move I go for. So the best accuracy move I have to hit this Aerodactyl with is Aqua Tail. So I'm definitely going to go for that and just hope that I can maybe win the speed tie. As luckily I do win the speed tie and I'm able to knock him out with the Aqua Tail. This scenario wouldn't have happened at all if he didn't crit my Cobalion and crit my Klefki. So I got one more good battle to show you guys, as here it is. And this is a different Primarina team along with Mega Aerodactyl again and Crocodile, because I really like these three Pokemon. And Cobalion is an absolute dumb, but we have Latios and I believe Choice Banded Scizor, if I'm not mistaken. So if you look at my opponent's team, he's got kind of a balanced team. Three very offensive threats in Nidoking, Darmanitan, and Honchkrow. Sylveon, Blastoise, and Metagross are a wall core. Sylveon could actually maybe be offensive looking at his team now. But going into this matchup, Darmanitan is actually a really, really huge nuisance to this team, because my fire check is Latios, and that gets you turned on, so that's not good at all. I have to watch out for that. Honchkrow could be a huge threat if I lose my Crocodile and my Cobalion, so definitely have to be careful with that one. Nidoking, I have literally no switch-ins, but if he doesn't have Stealth Rocks on Metagross, he could have Rocks on Nidoking, so that's really good. Metagross shouldn't be too big of an issue depending on the set that he is, and I also have no switch-ins to a potential Specs Sylveon, or if he has HP Fire, then that's going to be really, really bad. So all in all, my opponent has some really huge threats, so let's get this started. I'm going to be leading off with my Aerodactyl, as he's going to be leading off with his Nidoking, and turn one, I go for the Aqua Tail, thinking that if he does stay in, he may try and get up Stealth Rocks, or he'll think that I want to switch out. So he does stay in. I go for the Aqua Tail, get off a huge hit, and he has Poison Point, which is actually hilarious. I thought this was actually really funny, because this helps him out. Because if he was Sheer Force, the fact that his Poison Point doesn't even matter, because I'm going to Pursuit Trap him here. But if he wasn't Poison Point, my Mega Aerodactyl wouldn't have been poisoned throughout this match, and I wouldn't have had to take this extra residual damage every turn, which actually really, really helps my opponent out. So in comes the Blastoise. This thing is a huge threat. Luckily though, I believe this is Assault Vest Primarina. As I do hard switch it in, I'm going to be able to safely go for a Scald of my own, or I can predict them to switch out. As he goes for the Dark Pulse, he probably did expect me to switch into Latios, maybe thinking that he himself would want to switch out. So I don't think him Dark Pulse in there was too bad of a play, obviously, because if I was Spexed, I'm locked in the Scald, so why would I want to stay in? Little does he know though, I am not Spexed, so as he goes for the Ice Beam here, predicting me to switch out again, I'm going to bop him with an Energy Ball and get off a huge amount of damage, and then go for a Scald, potentially burning whatever he decides to bring in. But no, I'm not able to burn the Metagross. This is okay though, as I can then bring in my Crocodile, and I believe I do have Rocky Helmet. Right, yeah, so this is really good, because it turns out that he has Life Orb, so I'm able to bring him severely low, which is really nice, as he is at 17% HP. This also means I'm in a good spot to where I could potentially just go for the Earthquake. In hindsight, probably should have gotten my Stealth Rocks. I don't really think There was too much benefit in me going for the earthquake, but I thought that he maybe wanted to stay in, and I didn't want to take any unnecessary damage, so I could have kept this Krookodile healthy for this Honchkrow, which he actually hard switches directly into. And then because I literally have nothing to switch into this, and because I don't want him to potentially substitute for free, I'm gonna stay in and go for the knockoff as he goes for the Brave Bird, just destroying my soul. Luckily though, I did knock off his life orb, so it's really good, as I can bring in Cobalion. There's no way he knocks me out with any one hit, so I'm gonna go for the Iron Head, thinking that the close combat was too obvious, so I was hoping to catch the incoming Sylveon. Unfortunately though, that is not the case, as I get off some nice little chip damage on Darmanitan. And actually getting off chip damage on this Darmanitan is really huge, because if you look at his team, regular Metagross is at 17% HP, Blastoise is at 5% HP, Sylveon I believe is still close to full, Darmanitan is at 76%, and Honchkrow is at 28%. I have a Choice Band-Aid Scizor that likes to click Bullet Punch, and all I have to do at this point in the battle is weaken Darmanitan enough to put it in range of where Scizor can just come in, click Bullet Punch, and I win the battle. So I'm gonna sack off my Primarina here, just wanted to get this extra chip damage on Darmanitan. I bring in Latios. If he is Scarfed, or even if he's Band-Aid, he's gonna switch out regardless of what he wants to do, so I'm pretty much free to click Psyshock here as I catch the incoming Sylveon, which surprising enough is actually a 2-hit KO. I wasn't expecting that. I'm not really too sure why it is a 2-hit KO. I'm guessing he's more specially defensive than physically defensive, or maybe this is just naturally a 2-hit KO. I'm not too sure because I don't really see Sylveon too much in UU. Either way though, I'm going to be able to just Psyshock again as he unfortunately goes for the Protect, and then I think that he's going to switch into the Honchkrow, but no, he makes a nice play, predicts that potentially, and goes straight for the Hyper Voice and catches my incoming Cobalion. To be fair, I was most likely just going to spam Psyshock, so he could have easily brought in Honchkrow, and that's why I made the switch into Cobalion. So he probably thought about that and just left in Sylveon on the off chance that I did make this play, as he does get off a huge hit on my Cobalion. This is potentially bad, because if Honchkrow gets a Moxie boost, then he knocks me out with a Sucker Punch. But I'm in a pretty okay spot, because I can honestly just click Iron Head here and either KO this Sylveon, KO whatever he brings in, or just get off more chip damage on the Darmanitan. So I'm gonna actually close combat on the off chance that he did want to Darmanitan. Plus, by him going for the Protect and me going for close combat, I have him thinking that maybe I am gonna go for close combat instead of going for the Iron Head, which is why I Iron Head now, and I am able to knock out the Sylveon. So in comes the Darmanitan again. Chip damage is very necessary on this Darmanitan. So what I'm going to do is actually keep Cobalion on the off chance that I needed to take a Sucker Punch from the Honchkrow, plus Cobalion can still outspeed and knock out everything except for this Darmanitan. So I'm going to sack off my Aerodactyl here, and if I had been at higher HP, he would have taken more recoil damage. So he's going to knock me out, and unfortunately he's still not in range of where I knock him out with Bullet Punch. So I bring in my Latios as he actually goes straight for the Flare Blitz, and I go for the Defog, thinking that he would actually switch out, but no, he makes a very aggressive play there. But this is okay, because now he is definitely in range of where Bullet Punch will be able to knock him out. And I think just to be on the safe side, I sack off Cobalion just to make sure that I do knock him out. And yeah, definitely at 17%. I am adamant. Max attack with the Choice Band. Technician stabbed Bullet Punch. Nothing is living at this point in the battle. So Scizor just gonna put the team on his back. Even if he went for the Sucker Punch, I would have lived, and that is going to be the second battle. So yeah guys, two really good games that I had on the ladder. I hope you guys did enjoy them. If you did, make sure to hammer that like button down below. Let me know what you think about this, and if you would potentially like to see more videos like this as well. So with that being said guys, check out the two videos on the end screen, and I will have a Wi-Fi battle up for y'all tomorrow. So later everybody, thank you all for watching.
Cause my brain and heart are both tied in a knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot, just causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.